You show up and, if it's the good old boys, you're the good old boys, right? And you might have people throwing beer bottles in the cage and everything like that. But, I mean, we want to be able to switch gears. Good. Having a coffee. I experimented with what was it? It's not goat milk, it's almond milk. So yeah, I'm trying almond milk, and it's pretty good. I've never been to this place before. Sugar Beach has changed a lot since I came here last. The last time I came here was pre-pandemic, and I mean, there's a building now where it used to be flat, so still a really nice place to go. I mean, I walked to the water just to kind of check the vibe out and came back, and to my pleasant surprise, you were here, so thanks for having me. I wrote the last album, Fragments, during the lockdown. So, I don't know, I just had my acoustic guitar at home. I live in a small little place with two brand new kids, a wife, and I was sent home from work. Kind of was going a little bit crazy. And I wrote the whole album during the lockdown. So it had a certain vibe to it, for sure. Like, it was one idea. There's a lot of, what was really cool about it is there's a lot of things that people shared throughout the world. Like, a lot of people were feeling the same sort of things. Just be like, kind of like, we're at home, sitting on your hands. So it didn't stop there. Like, I started getting in touch with movie directors. And I started on Facebook just with whatever was being filmed independently across the world. And then it kind of chose me, the niche. Kind of went into the horror genre of things, and within 4 days of me like searching, and this is prior to this, I've been contacting tons of music supervisors, and the breakdown was, for every 100 music supervisors you contact, 3 get back to you maybe, and nothing happens from it. But during the lockdown, I was like, you know what, everyone's working from home in front of their computers. This is the time to do this. And I started on Facebook because I didn't know where to start. And you work your way up and you figure, okay, yeah, maybe like a UFC or a wrestling or horror. And I went after the directors. I didn't go to music supervisors. And within 4 days, I had like a director, texting my phone, willing to give me money for songs from LA. His name's Michael Mastasius, and I was in a movie called Ravage. And just from there, I saw what was being put out. And I really like this a director by the name of Jason Hawkins out of Oregon. And he was doing some really cool stuff. And I messaged him and I started talking. And long story short, I scored a movie of his. And I never knew how to score a movie, right? So it was like, YouTube tutorials 101, how to score a movie. And I really put myself into that, and I learned a lot from it. I feel like I have a good writing team. I'm the guy that brings the song to the engineer. The engineer, Brian Gagnon, he's the one that captures the idea and mixes it. And then once it's ready, what changed was Noah Mintz from Lacquer Music. He's a fresh set of ears, and he's a great mastering engineer in Toronto. And he gave it this different sound, I guess, right? And it was more polished. And I think myself, Noah, and Brian really work well together. This album, I'm gonna do it the same way, but before I get to the mastering, I'm gonna give it to the band to learn, and then come back into the studio and revisit it and let the band put in their ideas. And so that's how this album is gonna be different. It's gonna take longer, but I feel like this new, mature Len LaManna is willing to let go. And unless you feel strongly about something, I now feel that you bring people in, it's gonna evolve into something better. We have 65 songs to 70 songs. So I for the last few shows, we were playing like heavy sets that were really that's what the venues wanted. So, but we have a lot of different colors to Frail Fragment, and I really enjoy playing acoustically, even more than electrically, right? So I just think there's some sort of like intimacy behind that, and so this show we have a little bit more of a runway. We're gonna do like 12 songs. We have the Android Meme opening up for us. We're a great band who started when we started in 2005, hitting the circuit, and they took some time off, and now they're in a resurgence too, and we're kind of like we're playing shows together, and so they're gonna open for us. And to answer your question, we're gonna play. We're gonna change our set. So our set's gonna be more musical. It's gonna be more listening orientated. I think Dakota is a great place for that. It's a small room. It has a great sound system. It's a great vibe, and we're picking 12 songs that are really gonna complement that show. Right. So we're excited to share other elements of Frail Fragment, right? We love doing acoustic shows. This isn't really an acoustic show, but it's a dressed down show, and we're gonna play a lot more songs that we haven't showcased. So um, we're still sticking with we want to like learn as a band, let's say 40 songs that are already in our catalog, and to just show up to a place and not show up like the Blues Brothers, right? Where you show up and if it's the good old boys, you're the good old boys, right? And you might have people throwing beer bottles in the cage and everything like that, but I mean, we want to be able to switch gears. My goal is to create a balance now, because we're not being funded by a record company to go out and play every night, right? So I mean, I understand that, and to explain that to my family, where my wife has to take care of two small kids when I'm on stage. She's a part of the band too, right? And I'm more in awareness now than I was, right? So I mean, I have to pick and choose my shows. Like today, I had a buddy saying, "Hey, come and play the Peterborough Festival tomorrow." We had a band drop out. I can't commit to those things anymore, right? But if they said, "Hey," so I can, I can if there's big money involved, I guess, because then my wife she sees it as a little bit more of a benefit if I'm handing her money instead of just saying bye, take care of the kids, and I'm going to come back like dead tired, and the next day is shot. But it's a big question because when I started playing in bands at 14 years old, I'm 42 now. It's a long time ago. I wanted to be a rock star. I wanted to show the world that I was better than most of these people out there. And I would practice in my basement, singing like Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Stone Temple Pilots and Soundgarden, and just nailing the licks. And I'd listen to the radio, and I could nail all these singers. With the exception of some of the Chris Cornell, like Slaves and Bulldozers and stuff like that, it's like I bow down to that guy. He's the best. He's the GOAT. But for the most part, I can hang with these guys. So I wanted to be validated when I was a kid, for sure. Like I wanted to, and I did it for women. And that's what a lot of people that play music, they want to feel cool, and they want to, but now my whole paradigm is flipped around. So when I do get to play shows, I'm celebrating the fact that I'm there with all this stuff in my life, working 40 hours a week, doing a podcast, Monster Closet on Spotify, uh, writing albums, raising two kids, having a happy life. And when I'm on stage, I look around and you can get energy from the crowd. And I celebrate the fact that this is really hard. And all the bands that I played with in 2005 are gone. They're gone. Right? So that's what I'm celebrating. The fact that this is hard and I'm still doing it. And it's kind of it kind of chooses you at the end of the day, but you have to be in awareness to not take advantage of where you are, right? And I don't really, it's not about the validation. That's the balance, right? The validation isn't as important. That's what it is. The validation isn't as important. I just like to be in the moment and enjoy it. And when I'm on stage, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of stress. It's like almost it's a balancing act of who's playing, well, who's bringing what are bands, and then you get phone calls and this and that, and your family is pissed off because you're doing this and all this stuff, and it's just like and then after you play it or while you're on stage, it's like wow, you're like in this elevated state. You can't even hear the music anymore sometimes. So that's how it's changed, really, right? I'm just more thankful, and I'm not as selfish, I guess, right? So.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.